Hello and welcome, Overwatch fans. We are here. We are live. Little WSSEA action coming at you. That's the Washington State Scholastic Esports Association. I'm FBI Tugboat. We're here with my man Soav. Dan, Soav. How are we feeling on the day?
It's good to be back. Good to have you back, too. We missed you for the last one of the year, but we're in playoffs now, and I mean, you didn't pick a better time to come back, especially with this matchup, the number 1-5 seed, the Camus Papermakers taking on the Rogers Pirates. Both teams we had seen before, both teams having phenomenal seasons coming up into this point, too.
Fantastic seasons for one of these teams. Of course, it doesn't get any better. That's how numbers work. For another one of these teams, it doesn't get any better within the confines, right? Not two teams that can be perfect going into this. The Rogers Pirates coming in here with a perfect record outside of their 2-0 loss to Camas Papermakers. Camas Papermakers have beat everybody and not dropped a map, and not dropped a map.
Yeah, that's just insane. When you talk about being a number 1 seed, making a point going into playoffs time and looking to hoist that trophy, especially as you're like, this is also expected. I mean, in some ways, right? Because this is the previous season's, winning team. These guys have a legacy of this. So I would almost expect nothing but this level of dominance from the Papermakers. So, I mean, I think if you are the Pirates, though, you got a tough expectation. Your good season comes into this, but this is definitely stepping up towards the final boss.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The number 5 seed taking on the number 1 seed. If you can't call the number 1 seed the final boss, I'm not sure who you could call that, especially given they are represented within our tournament. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the bracket, see how these two teams got here, and what might be in store for us a little bit later on. As we see here, we saw a little wild card action, right? That's how the WSSEA does it. And honestly, I'm here for it. I'm pretty much always here for a wild card type spot. It just extends the lives of individual teams' playoff performances, like in their hopes and dreams therein.
Yeah, I mean, it makes total sense. Plus, you want a reward. You don't want to get halfway through your season and just go, well, we're out. Let's just, not worry about it. No, you want to give teams something to fight for. And unfortunately, Southridge did fight, but they had to come up against our final boss in Camus. So, again, you can not dropping a game. Camus just continues to win that on. We saw last week, Seattle Prep and Rogers come through. We were on screen here. We were watching Sela versus Burlington Edison in that lower bracket segment. But, these top 4 right now, these are some tough teams. We've seen all of them, and every single one of these teams showed just incredible performances through the season. But definitely this game tonight, I think, is going to be a great indicator playing in for that 1 and 2 spot.
Yeah, so single elimination bracket, obviously, here, making it a little bit harder for either Natchez or Southridge to have come forth through these and make it. Unfortunately, both of those teams now deleted as of last week. Obviously, that was Camas taking down Southridge, now Camas and Rogers. We had a little bit of an update as well, right? Rogers not playing with a key part of their composition last week. Is that correct?
Yeah, they didn't have their tank player last week, which I think really says a lot when you look at the Pirates. You know, it's easy to go your season, build your team, and build that synergy. But in the moments where, you know, someone has to step away, can't be there, for the rest of the team to pick up the slack and carry on with a sub, I think that really says a lot about the Pirates. That's actually why I don't discount them going into this, because that level of flexibility, being able to play with deeper in your roster, really could make a difference. But they should be at a full fighting force here for this game one as we head into Escort. It'll be Watch Point Gibraltar. And I mean, this is after this patch came through, we're looking at a whole new game here, Tugboat. This has just changed everything. Dive is back to being on King, and on a map that's so vertical like Gibraltar, it's going to be really important to make sure you have those dive tanks available to you, those Winstons, those Wrecking Balls. All of those heroes are so important when it comes to getting your ground here on Gibraltar.
You have to purchase every little bit of land here. It will not be given to you. Space is hard to come by. 5 seconds out from starting here. The opposite of your point, which is fantastic, because teams also have to be ready for dive, especially if they're going to be the ones pushing the payload. A little bit easier said than done. Taking a look. Paper makers on your right. Tuna. SPX James, Sergeant James perhaps. We'll just be calling them James, Storm, Rayal Snomd, and Okuzun.
Yeah, quite an interesting squad. We've not really seen them for quite a bit of time here on cast, but this comp looks pretty similar to what I would have expected out of a higher level team. The Tracer Genji with the ball, it means you have a 3-2 dive, and the Moira, I think, you know, you might want to have traded it for Zen, but I do like this. It's a very mobile team, very easy to collapse onto one of these targets. On the other side of the defense, the Hog over there for Magic Turtle, paired with the rest of these pieces from TNH Tally Ho, Karma, and Soy and Zev. You know, this is a very self-sustaining team across from them, so it's going to make diving these targets really difficult. The Zenyatta is the most vulnerable here, but that does not mean that Zenyatta will fall easily. Everybody here can turn in and immediately put damage on. So these dives from Canvas are going to have to be very calculated to how they approach.
Yeah, and this is just, okay, this is just a ball player taking all of the attention right there. Storm now drops down, little bit of shake and bake. That's 2 down. Everybody, every DPS on this map right now, except for Zev, has been taken out early. Now just absolutely swarmed. Sergeant James is back. Got a little bit of vengeance for their previous first death. Now, taking a look northwards here is James just trying to get forward and get with the rest of their squad. That's a big boop off. We'll see you later, Zen. As Rayal Snomd. Oh, hey, it's Lucio boop. Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Hey, you love to see it back in, and especially because of these changes from the patch. You know, you mentioned the DPS going first. Oh, James winning the best of that. That's impressive. That means that the attack will continue on. But yeah, the DPS changes and that new passive really are making quite a difference here when you talk about the healing denial that's coming through in a self-sustaining comp like this. Makes it harder for this team to stay alive as long as DPS. Oh, what a double!
Big Tuna, big Tuna. That's a 2-for-1 right there as Tuna takes down Zev and Karma. Karma not going to have that saving Suzu, excuse me, coming through, at least this time. Kamas just spitting distance away from this first point now here, Soev.
Yeah, and that means this is going to be a 4v5 fight because those two are not going to be back quick, so Mines just open it up just to clear the path.
Mines first. This is going to be surrounding this point as of right now with Soyo and Zen taken out. TNH follows suit. Last little player here. Magic Turtle might have some stall capabilities, but not much else coming out for the Kamas paper makers.
It's a great read for the paper makers. No, you're right. It's a great read from them though, because they isolated everybody else but the Hog. They knew the Hog was going to be the most difficult to take down. Let's use that DPS passive. Oh, they find Zev.
Oh boy.
Spawn too. Oh boy. Yeah, but they use that DPS passive to isolate everyone around them and just leave Magic Turtle for last, knowing, look, he's not going to be able to kill us. He's not going to be able to do much. So going into point 2, 4 minutes on the clock, and we're going to send in the artillery early here. Okay.
Yeah, really, really early. Picking locations right now, I guess payload's as good as any. That's going to be a wasted ultimate there for Zev. There's the switch. Can't say that's anything except expected. Soye right here onto the Hanzo to switch over, but that's going to be Rayal Snomd taken out early. Nice hook and a better shot. Magic Turtle taking a bite out of that one here and early. Has the hook, misses this one. Got the whole Hog here as well. So now it's just trying to get onto point, move this payload a little bit. This really has not moved that much after point number 1.
A bit of a stall outs, and you can see the regroup from Camus. Yeah, now that we're bringing in some of the heavy shooters, the Reaper, the Hanzo, these are much easier to burst down these targets. So dives and these characters getting in there are going to be even more difficult, especially now with the super high speed whole hog across the way.
See how this one goes. Tuna, Soye, this is going to be Kamas with pretty much every ultimate up except for their Coalescence. Rico, the Roadhog on the other side. And this is just a slow burn. Kamas is doing a fantastic job of just selecting targets, taking them out one by one. If they leave Magic Turtle for the end, well, it's a tough shell to crack that just makes sense.
It does, considering everybody else is just a lot squishier. And when you look at how easy it is just to get Tracer damage or Genji damage onto them, they won that fight with very little committed. 3 ults going into this, and they'll force the Pirates out.
I gotta say, increased health pool is not really doing much here for the side of Rogers. Ozukin, it's a lot out early. Nice deflect right there, and throughout the thick of things, though, Zev comes around the back, even without ultimates, takes main support here for Kamas. This is going to be tough for them to fight without it. They do have this sound barrier, but will it be worth? That's really the question, Soav.
Yeah, I guess you're trying to save it if you're the paper makers. You're probably saving it for the Death Blossom. You assume it's going to be a Nano Blossom coming your way, and you can kind of see that that's probably what they're saving for. The other option is they could use it aggressively into Ozukin's blade to give him some support while he goes in. But
man, oh man, that's 2 DPS ultimates here for Rogers, just kind of packaged neatly into the trash. Unfortunately, Zev on the first one, the Bastion ultimate, so yeah, now Zev did switch thereafter and has not pulled this Blossom yet. Now looking for a little bit of pressure right here. That's a Moira in a bad position. Ooh. Realizes that and quickly steps out. Now Zev turning attention back on 2, but now here comes the Nano boost, I believe. Yes, it is. The Death Blossom's up, and everybody realizes that and gets out of.
Yep.
Gets out of that. Oh, did force out the gnomed sound barrier though. Not 100% jump. Maybe just assume that Reaper was going to be able to cover a lot more yardage than he really did. Not 100% sure.
I mean, it was the right thought. You could kind of see the calls came in that the Reaper was looking for that, and it didn't look like it made it time. Swapping off to the Maga, though, on the defense. We're just going for raw sustainability, it looks like, just as much as we can, just to try to play into that fire. I mean, we're still holding Blade for Ozukin. I think we can, this is probably our last push to get us across the line. We know there's no defensive across from us. Karma's, we should just be able to win if we hit at least one with this Blade.
Oh, yeah, and TNH Talio there. The Ana not going to be mobile and going to be just absolutely swallowed alive by those Wrecking Ball mines. Now covering point as of right now. Looks like the Maga might actually be coming out. Jericho ultimate invested as well. That's going to be enough. No ultimates necessary for the rest of this, and that's a stop here for Rogers.
1 minute 30 on the clock means that this is coming in towards last fight territory. We're still holding onto Ozukin's blade as the last hope here. Again, no defensive across from it. It's a nano. You know, there's nothing really to stop it short of Ozukin getting picked. I mean, versus Zebs with their Death Blossom still holding onto that as well. So really playing the late game, whoever gets the most value of these ults should define the winner for this.
This is going to be a lot harder to get value with the blade if you have Soye with the 276 TAC visor. I mean, you only get 1 deflect right here. Now diving in, this is what this composition's all about. Up in the air, Zev has got it, but here comes the Nano, or the TAC visor, excuse me. Soye looking for targets, can't quite find it. Should have just turned around, paid attention to Tuna. Tuna taking out your healer throughout all of this. Little bit of tunnel vision across the middle, and Soye gets all the attention in the world. That's forced back. Kamas still fighting at this one, though.
Great disengage for now. It's going to be the Coalescence for the re-engage. Pair this with the Blade, and it should be a win condition for Camus.
They've been holding it for a very long time now, just waiting for the perfect time to strike. Speaking of, here it comes. That's going to be just shy of a full wipe right here. Karma not going to be able to get much else. Zev trying everything, getting nothing for it. 20 seconds to go. Camus has enough players on there, but will this be a stall opportunity? No switch onto Lucio or Ball or Tracer or anything for Rogers, huh?
They knew it was the last stand. They knew that that was their best shot when Zev, Zev was looking to get that pick. If anything had fallen, I think that might have been your call to you know, oh, let's make the swaps so we can get there. But considering the rest of the team, like you said, they fell relatively quickly. It was dominoes with the exception of Zeb. So, you know, now thanks to that adaptive, well, I don't think that's here, but you know, that adaptive kind of respawn system that they're considering. You know, you kind of pair up more as a team, pushed him a little bit, might have pushed him a little bit back, but it wasn't a bad hold. And I think considering how much time you took off the clock, I think you're actually pretty happy with that. 16 seconds means that this is, you know, as long as you can run it to the end, it means that the second go-around is much shorter thanks to the time bonuses that everybody will get. My question now for Camus is, yeah, are you going to play the same comp? Your dive looked very good, and that is an aggressive comp, but can you play that on the defense? And the answer looks to be a resounding kind of to me. I see a fragile backline in Zen Baptiste, but I see Tuna on the Tracer, and Tracer is a phenomenal hero. Pair that with the Diva, who can still get in faces. This is a much more defensive dive, and I like this just due to their ability to all peel for everybody while getting the bonus of Zen's debuff Discord orb. Opposite side, I mean, we're going to run the hog here. I'm not sure about that. This is a tough, especially on point A. Unless you have like a sim to move this hog around, I'm not sold. You're really counting on Soy and Zeb to get value and just trusting Magic Turtle to just kind of hold down the payload here. And I'm not sold that this is going to be a winning strategy right away here, Tugboat.
Yeah, Soye, like this is the best to try and come forth and get a pick from the edge, but that's not really what's happening. Soye is actually getting chased down by this Tracer on the other side. Tuna just swimming on in and doing exactly what they need to, just badgering supports and DPS the same. James going to be the one actually taking the pick on this one. Tuna cleans up a little bit on the backside, trying to get their counterpart as well. Turns attention onto the hog. That's the last heal, and that's going to be another kill. Kamasa started with a fantastic defense thus far.
I mean, all things considered, they got the payload pretty far, though. I mean, it did really force Camus to engage eventually, and now we'll see, you know, Magic Turtle give it up, they'll go to the Winston. I think this is the right call. We're bringing in the Sombra as well. I like these swaps. The Zen's a little fragile still, but I think considering all the other pieces, if you trust Tally Ho to really defend themselves, this comp can work, and you should be able to hopefully get a pick onto the opposing Zen.
It really does have to be how these pushes start. That's the kind of writing on the wall here, and they have to realize that a half push like that with Magic Turtle solo dolo with not a whole lot of support and line of sight therein is going to result in the same kind of ending that this first one did. Yes, they got this relatively far. Yes, it's pretty close to that last part, but you have to get there before you get extra time.
Yeah, and then you'll see it, they just swap right back. It's hard to make that dive coordinated, and the paper makers have done a great job of showing what a coordinated dive looks like, so they're just going to opt back into what works best for them. Magic Turtle just deciding, look, I'm not getting bullied. I'm just going to go back to hog and just push cart and let my DPS carry here, and that's the plan, is just to try to get onto these supports. And unfortunately for Soy, that's just a losing fight. You got to win those duels as a DPS.
Ooh, some nice shots to begin with. Almost got the Tracer solo dolo. That's Rayal Snomed asking the big questions in chat too. I'm sure y'all saw that. 2 picks quick. 2 picks quick. 3 picks quick. Doesn't quite rhyme as well, but Okuzin is going to be taken out right here. Does have that Dragon Strike as well, so that's going to be, if they can get up, get quicker out here. I mean, of course, that's going to require like a Lucio or something like that. TNH going over to Lucio or something here. Some kind of change. Something has got to give here for the Rogers Pirates.
And it's going to be even harder now that the paper makers have 4 ultimates up. You can see Zeb just trying to look for a quick stick. Doesn't quite. He'll get caught out. Yeah, 4 ultimates, including a defensive trance, is going to be so difficult. You have so much to burn through if you are the Rogers Pirates. You have to get through trance. You have to get through immortality field. At least you got 1 out.
Okay, well, got a little bit of assistance on getting that one done, but the immediate transcendence, and Kamas is going to be able get this out with the window as well. Karma just getting absolutely swarmed in the back and has everything kind of cut out, their work cut out for them, excuse me. Swarming around, Hamas's dive shows supreme yet again.
Self-destruct is probably just to get mech back, it seems like, in that case, but I mean, this shows the importance of a high ground, right? Okuzin just has been able to freeform in, and yeah, Storm, whoops, that was an accidental self-destruct. We'll take it. You'll take it if you are the Rogers Pirates. This shows the importance of managing this high ground. It gives Okuzin the chance to just free fire in. It protects the Zenyatta, so this is going to be a difficult castle to storm, especially on your last push with 2 ultimates up. At least you have the trance on your side.
Nice pull at least, but not a whole lot of support on the backside as Tuna takes a long walk off a short pier, which would be fine for a fish. Tracer different story. TNH, the panic ult here at the end, I believe, maybe to try and keep up their teammate, but now it's just push, yeah, it's just kick opportunities here. That's going to be a double kills. So yeah, TNH taken out. Now just some contest on the point.
Yeah, the last just to try to get a little value, and unfortunately, Rogers Pirates. You know, look, we saw this play out. Unfortunately, in the previous in the preseason, it was 2-0 for Camus the last time, and Camus looking to make it happen again. And judging by this first Gibraltar hold, Camus is not here to play. They want to make sure they do not drop a single map. They want to go all the way to the end. They want that perfect season, Tugboat.
Yeah. Yeah, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised. There was the way this first map has gone, coming into it, I was really hoping that we'd seen a much more of a one like an even-handed competition here. But Pirates, the simple fact is that it started kind of shaky here, and the correct like edits, right? They were malleable. They were willing to make changes, but the changes there just didn't prove something that could have came up and beat something like what the paper makers have been doing all season. Honestly, not trying to be too negative about Rogers by any means. Kamas just has it figured out, honestly.
No, you're right though. Like it's hard not to sound like you're coming down on them, but when the paper makers make dive comps like that, and that is not an easy dive comp to work. Let's be real here. Like ball tracers,
it's a lot of coordination required, man.
It's so much coordination.
A lot of coordination.
Yeah, there are teams in collegiate that can't manage that, and there are teams in Overwatch, in the former Overwatch league that struggled with that. You know, this is not the easiest comp to play, and to try to have to like audible into that really is a big ask from the Pirates. So I think if you are the Pirates, you're like a little disappointed, but you know, Gibraltar also wasn't really your map based on what you showed. You showed hog, you showed a lot of ground, you showed a lot of brawly, rushy types, and that kind of just makes me look at this and go, well, like this isn't the map. Let's focus on the next one because we have a different mode coming up. Let's just go to the next one where we stand a better chance.
That's a fantastic point. I was kind of like, I feel like I was kind of reaching for like reasons why, and there's like a lot of little things that you could pull, but I think that was the biggest thing. They just literally kept tank boots on the ground the entire time. They didn't go with a tank outside of like the Maga switch for a little while that had any kind of like real versatility outside of their kit and what it's intended to do, right? After that, I mean, just like you said, man, dive can be really, really tough to pull off, and it is the difference of like quarters of a second sometimes, especially when you're talking about, you know, heroes that aren't named the tank, right? When you're talking about your DPS and your healers with either peeling for healers or the healers getting out of dodge while the getting is good, while still getting the required healing, the support they still have to get out to make sure that everybody's staying alive. But looking like Helios next, very excited for this one. I want to go ahead and talk about one of the organizations that make competitions just like this one possible, and that is, of course, Seattle Built PCs. We got the confirm, I think, like week 1 or week 2. Guys, if you're in the lower 48, or in Canada, of course, then you can contact Seattle Built PCs. That is ultimate performance, one-of-a-kind aesthetics, while still retaining that small business value. They shipped anywhere here. Now, folks, if you're talking about wanting to purchase like a completely pre-built PC like myself, because I don't trust myself with these things and these, you know, $1,000 computer parts and stuff like that, then they can do the pre-built way. If you just want individual parts, you know exactly what you want. Still, Seattle Built PC has got your back.
Yeah, when you're fighting for the crown like this, you got to have a good PC on you, especially when now it's match point here on Ilios. And both of these teams, like I said, match point, you know, Camus looking to just move this on, continue and make it, you know, just a flawless round. But, I mean, this is one of those modes where it's, like I said, Rogers, Pirates, this is their one best shot. The only thing that concerns me is kind of, you alluded to this, we didn't show a Lucio for the side of the Pirates, and a Lucio or a Symmetra becomes so important on this mode. Getting to the point first just increases your chance of success. So this first fight will really tell us a lot about what we're expecting to see. And yeah, I like the Maga switch, the Torb switch. I do really like that. And when you know there's a dive, those are two great anti-dives. Yeah, I love that. But we still need the Lucio. I really want to see Tally Ho give that up and go to the Lucio.
And have this DPS composition, this DPS core here for Rogers that was so celebrated 3 seconds ago. The Junkrat can work, but just your only option of getting traps are onto Ball or onto the Genji, and any good Genji isn't going to, you know, isn't generally going to fall into that. And also Genji, Ball,
the Genji, Ball,
the Tracer. Everybody is going to swallow this Zenyatta alive on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, especially because, again, you're depending on Karma to protect you. Karma's also pretty weak unless they can hit, you know, their darts and hit their nades, and you can see it. Like, already, just so far in the backline, the Lucio is just playing games right there. Just getting behind and creating a crossfire, creating just another angle to look at, a great read, which will give them the point first.
Yeah, we're on board with the Maga right now, who has a laundry list of targets to pick from, and analysis paralysis is our result. Did not make a decision. The decision will make you. Swarming the point right now is Kamas and taking a couple points.
Yeah, like you said, the paralysis of who are we targeting, making sure you can make those shot calls is a fundamental for this game, and it's one of those things that can happen. We'll swap into Hog, we'll bring in a Genji. Okay, I like a lot of these changes. We're a lot more brawly. We give ourselves a little bit of a chance to stay with Immortality Field. I don't hate it. We need to continue to burn down. I just want to, now let's get the fundamentals back. We need to call out the targets. We need to focus on one thing at a time. And if we can put that together for the Pirates, you know, this could be a ship that goes the distance.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe, dare I say, oh no, what the boop? What the boop storm coming in there onto the completely immobile Ana. That happens. That happens. The Zelios, people. The Zelios.
Yeah. Again, this is a hyper mobile dive comp, and I think the scariest thing is this is a hyper mobile dive comp that seems to be working at 100%. I mean, they're even knowing to take the high ground. They're even pushing so far up. You can see the shot calling come out. They're focusing a target. They're calling out the slams and following up for Storm. So great reads. We're going to swap in the Ramatra, and it just feels like we're just trying to find an answer here for the Pirates. We don't know what to do, so we're throwing everything in the bag at it.
Hey, I'm not against this at this point. You're on match point. Nice sleep. This
Good
just
sleep.
set up a whole lot right now. This is also practically going to force out the trans on the other side for Sergeant James here, now getting super low and getting thin. There's the trans. Now they just need to hold on for about 5 seconds. There's not a real chance of damaging through this one. Storm, though, gets to the back of this Ramatra, and Magic Turtle, once again, the shell cracked. Sergeant James is on an absolute warpath right now. No fear whatsoever. Barely gets there for Zev. Now they're going to be granted a full ultimate on that one. Tuna does get the last little bit in there, but Rogers now coming this one full ultimate, but they have to have somebody touch. Doesn't happen. Brutal. Let's talk a little bit about what didn't work in this. The problem with TNH playing the Zen is the same problem. It's Karma playing the Ana, right? They're two just immobile healers. They don't have a lot of built-in defenses, man.
Oh, please, thank you. Tally ho, please, thank you. Just give us the Lucio. Yeah, this is just exponentially better. I understand we want Discord, but that's why you play, like we see across from you. You see Campus playing Zen Lucio. You gotta match that. You said it perfectly. You have to match the Lucio. If you need the value from Zen, I don't hate that.
I mean, Tuna can zip around, pick up health packs as necessary. Also obviously got the recall in time. Okuzen's got their defensive blade.
Yeah.
Karma's still just going to be left out in the lurch as these two divey DPS are going to have their pick of the litter yet again. I mean, it's possible for them to swarm around and protect the Ana. I'm just saying it's really, really hard to do. You're giving yourself extra challenges at that point.
Yeah, this is almost on hard mode. I do like Soy picking up the Junkrat. I do think if you're going to stop the ball, that is the best chance to do so. But I mean, yeah, let's also just play as a team. Let's just keep everybody together, play as a team, and focus in targets. Again, if you can shot call, great sleep and great stall out there, but you got to keep focusing out these targets. And even if it's just hunker down to the point, just do that for yourself. Give yourself one target. That's a beautiful target on the Zen. Just finish that kill.
Got really close right there. Oh, not going to be enough. Tuna answers the call at the last second, and Rogers now actually does start taking their first points of this matchup. We're not able to get to point 1 in map number 1. We're not able to take the hill in map number 1 of Ilios. 10% will be their reward. Hamas now putting the pressure on.
Yeah. Oh, great.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, I say. You gotta burst that
Tracer
down because that Tracer's, oh no, Karma's gotta be so mad at Turtle for waking
Turtle,
that up.
And also for doing it when they weren't ready, right? Like you had to sleep. Now it's time to get the single shot and the grenade in there and the anti-grenade in there, as well as, I mean, even just a single shot or punch or something, and that's an instant kill, or that's a kill within 10 seconds. It's a kill before the Tracer wakes up. I think they just got a little excited on that one. It is what it is. Yeah. Storm on board right now, just consistently being a really, really thorn in the side type situation provided for the Rogers Pirates.
Yeah, the Pirates don't seem to be quite the crew together. I like these changes. These swaps that came through are really good. They're the right idea, but we just got to remember to play as a little bit more of a team here. We got to protect down because wherever Storm slams, that is the target that they follow up on. You have Sound Barrier. The problem is that you have Trance and another Sound Barrier against you, so you're gonna lose the longer fight here. I like this aggressive push though.
Okay, well, the speed gets turned on, but this Sound Barriers is dropped a couple of seconds too soon. They are on board right now, and they do take it. That's the name of the game. If you can turn ultimates into hill takes, and that is going to be a win situation. Nice boop on TNH onto Real. Little Lucio on Lucio action, and Rogers coming out on top of that one. Now with tank done, healer done, but TNH finds another boop. Even getting, there you go, even getting getting a little love, a little respect from their frenemies there. Okuzan back on over to point. That's just outside of missing 36-37. No, Rogers is back right there at least for a little while. Soye, nicely done. Finally taking out Storm. I thought the rain would never stop.
I mean, yeah, but still be back so quickly. I mean, Ball just is so efficient, and they haven't even put point back, so that means that the longer Camus continues to take this, okay, finally, I would say the longer they take this, the more closer to one fight it is. Yeah, I mean, it was a nano, and it was nano, but it was a costly fight to get this for the Pirates, but you have to, considering it's match point. You have Annihilation up, so if you hunker down on the point, you can, in theory, prevent this dive. You just have to push past the Sound Barrier from the Lucio first, and I mean, heck, that will force him back for a little bit longer too.
I was gonna disagree with you until Okuzan went down. Now Okuzan coming back. This is a squad that should be able to spread out and, like you said, get Annihilation going to shut down Okuzan, but now with their main source of healing done and no barrier with it, riding maybe on the wall a little bit here. Nicely, a great job getting damage in. That's a Sound Barrier. TNH so close back to it. Here's the blade right now. TNH has to stay alive and drop it. Does, but only gets it on two others. Karma still back with the rest. Annihilation out here as the anti does take down Storm. 83-84% now for the side of the Rogers Pirates. Here comes a different form. That's a lot of damage coming Kamas's way. Speaking of damage, Magic Turtle, though. Sergeant James can't keep this one alive right here. The main healers for both of these squads, so Abdanam, are just having a sticky wicket of this time here on Ilios. Back and forth we go. This is overtime official now. Another boop on Okuzan, but Rayu has got something to say in the boop category. This is Kamas coming out on top. We're in last fight territory.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a lot to get through this. Both teams committed everything into it. Soye is going to have the only ultimate close in range here, and that is going to be the tire. We're in the last fight. They have to be a touch, so we'll see who gets there first. But if Soye can come up huge on this tire as quick as possible, the Pirates can push us to the map 3, and they need this to stay alive here. This tire needs to be big, or they go home.
Nice anti at least. That got one. Now a shot, a punch onto this Tracer. Real getting back to this one. Little boop action. But no! TNH can't bring it back! That was just on the corner. This is Lucio 102 action. That's going to be enough for the Kamas Papermakers. There is one player left. Magic Turtle cannot do everything themselves. The team kill bell rings at 99-99, but it's going to be the Kamas Papermakers coming out with 100.
Well, they earned it. I mean, they wanted to make sure they didn't lose a map. They didn't lose nothing here, and Papermakers show why they are not just your returning champions, but your #1 seed in this one too. And a lot of it is from the back of this man's right here. Rail on the Lucio, just absolutely putting on a clinic with those boops. Not just the boops, but the good use of speed, the good use of that ability. I mean, following that out too is great. Yeah, that is a player that understands how to play Lucio, knows and is listening to their main tank. Lucio can be such a tough role because you have to be able to see everything around you while also maintaining your speed, your HP, and all of that. So your key, that main support, that kind of main utility support is such an important role, and that is clearly a strong player in that role for the Papermakers.
100%. I think a lot of people know about, like, Reinhardt tech, right? Like, when you're going up shield to shield, especially if you've played a lot of Overwatch 1, you're, like, literally looking for them to start their fire strike so you can hit your hammer, right? You can fire strike. Or you can use the ultimate, right? Get everybody stunned. the equivalent of that right there, like that little Lucio duel, is you're literally waiting for the other Lucio to jump up a little bit while you have like a height advantage. So you can literally boop against the ground because that's the initial bounce. And then once that bounce comes out, they get an angle at which they can't get back onto the wall. That is like, that is about as perfect as an angle as you could get. You could get it from like a tiny bit higher and actually like hit them down faster, like a tiny bit, but that is, you know, doesn't matter. Same thing would have happened. And there's zero opportunity to catch onto that wall. That was perfect stuff. The last corner right there, the one we actually saw like during game or whatever, not during like the replay, that was like a little bit savable, you know, question mark, but really these boops come in the way of like, did I make this savable for the other Lucio or other, you know, your Genjis, your Hanzos, people who can climb up walls, your Kirikos now, right? Like that's kind of the conversation. There is no conversation if you don't make that possible. It's such like, I know I'm freaking out about like a really minor play right now, but it was very impressive for that reason.
I think you're right to freak out because I think that really speaks to the quality not just this individual player, but the training, the teamwork, the practice that goes into a team like this. You don't come in as your last season's champion. You don't come in as the #1 seed without being able to pull off tech like that, to know those kinds of things, to understand what should we really be playing, what is a strong comp, and what should we be doing. And from top to bottom, this Papermakers team absolutely just did their homework and understood the assignment. They know exactly what they need to do, and they want to grab that. They just want to hoist that trophy. It's so clear that 2 in a row is exactly what they are here for.
Absolutely. What the personalized trophy for the school, undying honor and glory. These are the two main things that are at stake here for this tournament. Let's take a look at the bracket again. Now revisit it after the action, kind of see how these teams are going to shake up a little bit now after the Kamas Papermakers 2-0. So Kamas going to be punching their ticket onto the grand finals. Rogers will be dropping down to face against the loser of Cedro Woolley, Burlington Edison right there. The winner, of course, punching their ticket, which really isn't a ticket at all when you're talking about playing against a squad like the Kamas Papermakers. But as you see right here, guys, that'll be tomorrow, 221 February 21st, 4 p.m. Pacific time as well, of course, over here on the West Coast. We'll get the if we have the winner of Cedro Woolley and Burlington Edison, then we will call it out right now. We'll call it out before we get this broadcast over with. But we are reaching towards the end of it, guys. Regardless, if you're not following along WSSEA on their socials and whatnot, if you're curious, hey, Cedro Woolley, Burlington Edison, who is going to be playing against my Kamas Papermaker as well, you can check it out over there. Want to give one more big shout out to Seattle Built PCs as well. That is ultimate performance, one-of-a-kind aesthetics, while still retaining that small business value. Lower 48 Canada, looking for PC parts, looking for fully built, like pre-built PCs. Seattle Built PCs gonna have you good. If you like what you heard, WSSEA. If you specifically like the voices that it came from, well, at FBI_tugboat or FBI_tugboat. So have Dan. Do we have anything else for the good people before we bid them adieu? This time not for a week either. This time for like 23 hours and some change because the grand finals is tomorrow.
Yeah, as I say, this is going to be a nice change of pace. We're coming back tomorrow. You said everything I wanted to, so I just want to see everybody there tomorrow because this finals, I'm sure, is going to be interesting. Either we're going to see, you know, a 2-time champion team, or we're going to see someone take the throne.
Absolutely. Congratulations, the Papermakers punching their ticket in the grand finals 2 years in a row. Rogers had some fantastic looks throughout all of this and a great opportunity. Still going to have the opportunity, speaking of, to play for 3rd or 4th. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you tomorrow.